now for something rather different, this panoramic landscape on the way back from Aigurande. Notice this, wonder where I could paint it, because very often with panoramas they look great when you look at them just with your eyes. When you try with a camera or try to make a picture, there's just too much there. I decided to make a composition of this, one of the major trees here on the left, this big one here, and place it about a third of the way across the canvas, going to the golden rule, and then almost a triangle, as we had 2 points of perspective, going left and going right. I started with a nylon long-handled flat and whacked the paint on almost a la primer, doing my technique of blending the edges together and putting one over the other, much as the Impressionists did, so that I get a broken colour effect, especially with this sky, which was creamer on the left and much warmer on the right, starting with a very light pink at the bottom, working up through into turquoise and then cerulean, with a glaze of the pink coming back in at the top, of purple coming back in at the top. The whole thing was far creamier at the left, so we were working some lemon yellow there with white into it as well. You might notice this with skies, especially blue skies. They're much cooler at the horizon and get warmer and warmer as they get higher up into the atmosphere. Warmer and warmer in colour tone, that is, or in colour hue. You'll also notice that unless it's a sunrise or sunset, the colours usually go from warmer in the foreground to cooler and cooler into the background. So here I'm working from my horizon backwards. I'm going to put the distant hills and so on in. In reality it's one huge flat sky, no cloud at all, but I didn't want that. I wanted this shimmering effect of this Mediterranean light coming down from the sun and the various blues and layers of blues that we can get with this broken colour effect to give this shimmering effect of warmth. Then I came straight across to the closest tree and painted the shadows or the background, the base colour of it in, realising that the shadows in that tree are going to be warmer than the cools and shadows in the very background. Again, we're working from the warmest things in the foreground, colours in the foreground and detail in the foreground as an impression, through to the cooler colours as we gradually recede into the background. So even the shadows will have warm and cools in them as a variety within an object, let alone as they recede and go back. I prefer to work up on all my midtones first and work down to the darks, and then work back from the darks upwards through the midtones and up to my final highlights. If I was going to give any advice, it would be to treat it a bit like a patchwork quilt, a bit like making a jigsaw. Put the right colours in the right shapes in the right places, relevant one to another. So if you've got a reasonable drawing, all you have to do is, when you have a colour on your brush, use it wherever it is. Don't keep washing your brush. If you've got a colour on your brush and it's somewhere else, use it wherever it is throughout the whole canvas. That way you keep the whole canvas running equally, the whole painting equally. And you just place these colours all over in the right places and the right shapes, and like a jigsaw it will just come together. It's as simple as that. Also it means you're constantly comparing colours. It's very easy to paint a part of a painting and finish it, and then find later it's incorrect to another part. So by constantly comparing the colours all over the canvas, you will end up with a coherent painting, all the colours correct one to another. Another tip I give about my way of painting is that if you start loose, you can finish tight. You can't start tight and go back to being loose. So if we start nice and loose all over the picture and build up a nice tone poem, we can gradually pull together all the details and the texture towards the end, as much as we feel is necessary. We are in control.